Hi guys, how is going? This is a online game that I played, a rapid game, and it features Roy Lopez opening, and I think it's interesting and shows how complex is this opening and how sharp it can go. Okay, e4, e5, knight f3, attacking the pawn, defending the pawn by knight c6. Bishop pins the knight. Later, black moves d6 and the knight will be pinned. Usually, this is or d6 or d5, and usually this is the case. So, black doesn't like the pin, so kicks my bishop away, and then knight f6. This is a standard so far. Sometimes black plays b5 directly, but sometimes no. It first puts pressure on e pawn and asks black from white, what do you want to do with e pawn? Do you want to defend it? Said yes. This is a aggressive variation that you defend it directly. There is another variation like goes this line, Berlin variation, and after some mini exchanges here, this knight goes to c5. After some mini exchange like that, you are not going to take it like this because this is a blunder. Yes, after some exchange like that, takes, and the knight goes back, exchange this pawn, and queen takes, rook takes, and this is a end game, and it's very heroish. I think Kramnik initiated this opening because he was playing against Kasparov in World Championship. Okay, but I didn't want to go to this heroish line or the difficult endgame line, so I played d3 and a natural move of b5. Also for our book moves, bishop e7, and there are several ways to develop bishop, but e7 is one. Other option is to go to c5, like here, to later white castles, and then you pin the pawn on f2. But my opponent chose this line, a more modest approach, not very aggressive one, but the aggressive one has its own weakness, because if you go like to c5, later white pushes c3 and then d4 and kicks your bishop away. So some people prefer to directly play on e7, and this is very common actually. So castle. Okay, first he plays d6 instead of castling. This is an option. He could also castle, but d6 tells me whether if I want to let him to pin my knight. I say, okay, you can pin my knight with your bishop, and he pins. Via rook e1. The idea is that to bring the knight b1 knight to g3 square, and g3 square or e3 square, and the rook is in middle of a way. Usually knight goes to d2, then f1, then g3. And another option is that this rook here can later lift to e3 and then go to somewhere like g3, like and attack enemy's king directly, aligned, stay in g file to attack enemy's king. Okay, then we have this continuation. I was not sure whether I should first play c2, c3, or then expand my knight. c2, c3 enables your bishop to go back if knight attacks, but I didn't play that, and he attacks. I said, okay, you can take my bishop, but then my queen will take back and I get rid of the pin. And this also happened. And one common approach is to play in both sides of the board, like in left wing and right wing, and even in the center. And this is what you do in Ruy Lopez. A4 is a common move to stop pawn push of black, Like black currently cannot play a5 b5 b4, because if he play a5 I take the b pawn, and he can if he push right now the b pawn, then it's pointless, I just take it, and yeah, it causes some difficulty, prevents black from playing in queen side, and allows white to play in the king side. Okay, here my opponent said, okay, my pin is worthless right now, let's kick your queen away. I say, okay, I go back, castles. No, my plan is almost implemented. My knight is in the right place. No, it's time to plan to attack. Okay, I said, okay, I don't want to see this pin again. So, prevented that. And then, as you can see, there is a change in evaluation by engine by this move g4, g5, sorry. And this moment, I thought, what can I do? I can take the pawn, sacrifice a piece, like take with the bishop and then take with the knight with check. But then I've noticed, okay, so let me show you what happens. Takes, check, and goes somewhere like here. And then I was thinking about to take this bishop, but then destroy his pawn structure. But then I thought that, okay, then with what should I attack here? I don't have anything to attack. So this is an engine. If you see in this moment, okay, no engine. I thought it suggests h4, but it doesn't. I also thought about h4, but this doesn't bring me anything. I mean, I didn't know how to continue here. So I said, okay, let's first fix the center. I want to sacrifice some piece at some moment, but I should first see if I can fix the center, because I don't want to get counterplay from black. So push the pawn here and bring the bishop out and prepare for taking the g pawn. Also putting more pressure on the center. I can also add now bring the rook to d1 and put more attacking force into center. Black did something I didn't understand. What's that? I mean, knight backs up. I didn't understand. He wants to take back with the bishop or something like that. But okay, here I thought a lot, and then I decided to push. And this blocks the center somehow. Okay, now I take. Engine evolution was +1, and no, it is almost 0 or -1. I don't know why, but it's very easy to go wrong here. And my opponent went wrong very quickly. At this moment, okay, what's the plan? I have 2 pieces in the king side of my opponent, queen and knight. Actually 3 pieces, but my opponent also has defensive force, like his bishop is defensive force. So in actual fact I have at most 2 pieces. I have to bring more pieces, but then he could take my knight and cause some trouble for me. So I first defend my knight. I didn't want to move it backward. No, he takes this pawn in this side. This was completely irrelevant to what is happening in the king side. His king side is under damage. He had to move the rooks and bring the queen into defensive force, but he didn't. This was a slow move. I said, okay, I want to stop any counterplay you have. He got a pawn, he win a pawn, but this is not, as you can see by NG evaluation, it's not really good. No, I first block his entrance, and I thought one thing, okay, if he's thinking about to take the pawns, he's not understanding the situation is quite dangerous in his side, so I can safely play this c4. This was maybe not a very chess move. Like chess move was something like f4 or something like that, but this was more psychological move that I said that, okay, the opponent is busy with the queen side, So I can block every possible counterplay here because I want to go for f4 and open the files. This c3 c4 has two purposes. First, blocks black from playing any counterplay. It's basically has no counterplay. Or any counterplay takes a long time. Before that, he could play bishop b5 and attacking my king side by bishop, but no, he cannot. Or like bishop, like suppose I was doing something else, I don't know, something, okay. Then he could play bishop there, and then this f1 square. I cannot go to f1 square by my rook because the bishop is defending there. Okay, but what happened is that no, he has no counterplay. Any counterplay takes a lot of time for him, and he keep playing somehow nonsense. Instead of he has a bishop and knight defending his territory, his king territory, both bishops maybe, but he need more forces. There is a queen there and rooks are coming. And okay, I was saying that this c3 c4 had second purpose. Second purpose is this one. The rook can lift at some point and come to the g3 or f3 or h3 depending on the position, and add one more attacking piece to the party. Okay, but what I did was exactly this, and then right after that I pushed f4 to open the fight. Naturally takes, but as you can see, engines just a strange move of queen b6 is just inhuman move. Well, you don't see what is happening. I believe even queen oh, this is also not good. Any move except queen b6 is bad, but it's not very inhuman. Says that okay, I want to have some counterplay, I want to attack the b pawn, otherwise black is just going down. But of course my opponent didn't see that and just took the pawn. I take the kid back. Seems that I don't have anything right now, right? I have just some pieces hovering around black king, but they don't do anything special. So he says that okay, let me kick your piece, but okay, the time is past. You had some chances before, but right now you don't have any chance. Here I thought a lot, and yeah, you can see engine evaluation, but you can also think about it yourself, what to do here. What is the best move here? It's somehow inhuman move, and I did it. The point is that he cannot take this knight f5 is the move. He cannot take here because I say check, and his king cannot come in because it is blocked by my queen. So he cannot attack my knight, so he didn't win any piece so far. His king should go backward. And now what do we have? No, we have a lot of material attacking to the king of our opponent. First, have to take this pawn, this annoying pawn, and note that he cannot do some slow move like rook here, because I just simply, the engine says qh4, but I just can simply take this, and it's a complete piece up plus catastrophic position for black. So black understands this. Wait a moment. Black understands this, and no, I don't want. Okay, black understands this and doesn't take my knight. After this move, knight f5, he doesn't take my knight with the pawn. He doesn't play this move. Instead, he takes the other knight, the dangerous knight. Okay, I take back with the check. No, it seems that he takes with the bishop and I'm just a pawn down. Yes? Yeah, that's true for a moment. But first I kick his king away. Note that it's not easy to take this pawn because this a3 rook can come to h3. First I take this bishop, and then a king doesn't have any escape room, like where, I mean, here rook comes in, And yeah, he cannot take that pawn, so he went down. And yeah, now what is the natural move here? Queen takes bishop. Well, it seems that he can take my knight, and material is almost equal. Also, when he takes with, and he actually take my knight. And when he takes with pawn my knight, then the g file is blocked because bishop takes care of g pawn, so I cannot bring my rooks to join the party but join the attack. But the point is that I have a beautiful pawn and it at h5, so I use that pawn, and here my opponent resigned. Basically he had no way to go. Going here is checkmate in one move. Going here is checkmate in one or two more move. qf rook here and takes, queen comes in and checkmate. And now you see this rook h3 how powerful is this, because this rook wasn't delivering. Okay, this also delivers checkmate because this time we take the rook and then queen comes in, but it's at least prevented him taking at this moment. It prevented black to take this pawn because we had this beautiful. If we do something like that, this is a checkmate. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed and you got something out of this game, especially example of seeing how this rook lift is beneficial for white. Of course, we are not engine, we cannot calculate everything. At that moment I said that okay, this sounds like good move because later I need to go to g3, h3, f3, one of these files, especially if both my pawns g and h pawn are gone. If it is not gone, then the pawn itself, as you have seen here, plays a big role in winning the game. These advanced pawns in opponent territory are always dangerous pawns for them. Okay, that's it. See you next time.